Started on a cold Monday morning when Emma Davis, 15, stood quietly by the rusted school gate, clutching her worn-out backpack. The sky was gray, the air smelled of rain, and her reflection in the window beside her looked pale, too pale. Her beanie covered most of her head, the one she had started wearing after her hair began falling out. She used to have long, curly blonde hair that shimmered in the sun. But now cancer had taken it, along with her old self-confidence. The students passing by whispered things they thought she couldn't hear, but she did, every word. Why's she wearing that hat again? Probably hiding her bald head. She's just milking it for attention. And then came the harshest one, 3 words that hit harder than any chemo session ever could. Shut up, cancer girl. Laughter followed, loud, cruel, careless. Emma froze, her fingers tightened around the strap of her bag. She wanted to disappear, but before she could react, a voice broke through from behind the gate. Hey, you got a problem with my daughter? The laughter stopped, the bullies turned, and there he was. A tall man in a dark navy jacket, his face lined with quiet strength. His left hand held a duffel bag, his right bore a faint scar that told 1,000 stories of service. His eyes were sharp, like someone who had seen war, pain, and yet still had love to give. Commander Ryan Davis, Navy SEAL, retired. The bullies froze, unsure whether to run or apologize. Ryan didn't raise his voice, he didn't have to. He just looked at them, then at Emma. You okay, kiddo? Emma forced a shaky smile. Yeah, just a normal day. He crouched down, brushing a strand of invisible hair from her face. You know something? He whispered. Those words only stick if you let them. You've fought worse than them already. Her eyes filled with tears. He wasn't wrong, she fought death itself. But as he drove away that morning, he looked back in the rearview mirror and saw Emma standing alone. The kids had walked off laughing again. He gripped the steering wheel harder. You don't mess with a SEAL's daughter, he muttered under his breath. That night, Emma sat on her bed sketching in her journal. Drawing was her escape. She drew a version of herself, bold, fearless, with lightning in her eyes. Under it she wrote, one day I'll be stronger than the pain. Her dad peeked in, can't sleep. She shook her head. He sat beside her looking at the drawing. That's you, isn't it? Maybe who I want to be. Ryan smiled softly. You already are, you just don't see it yet. He didn't tell her how much it hurt him to see her like this. How helpless he felt when her hair fell out, when she vomited after chemo, when she cried at night thinking she'd never be beautiful again. He had fought terrorists, storms, and war zones, but this, watching his daughter suffer, this was the war he wasn't trained for. Days passed, the bullying didn't stop. In fact, it got worse. One morning, as Emma was walking through the gate, a group of older girls blocked her way. The leader, Chloe, smirked and yanked off Emma's beanie. The cold air hit her bare scalp, gasps echoed, some kids pulled out their phones to record. Emma's cheeks burned with shame, tears filled her eyes, she ran, leaving her bag behind. By the time she reached home, she collapsed in her father's arms, sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe. Why do they hate me, Dad? I didn't choose this. Ryan's jaw tightened. He wanted to march back to that school right then, but he didn't. Instead, he held her tighter. You're going back tomorrow. She pulled away, horrified. No, I can't, they'll just laugh again. He looked her dead in the eye. No, tomorrow you walk in with your head up, because those scars, that bald head, that's not weakness, Emma, that's your battlefield crown, you earned it. The next morning, Ryan drove her to school himself, but instead of leaving, he parked and waited at the gate. Emma took a deep breath, stepped out, and walked through those same gates, no hat, no hoodie, just her head high and her eyes brave. The bullies were waiting again. Chloe snickered. Oh look, she finally stopped hiding. But before Emma could speak, a voice came from behind her. Ryan, that's right, my daughter doesn't hide, she fights. Every head turned. Chloe frowned. Who are you supposed to be? He walked forward, calm but commanding. Her father, Navy SEAL, I've been in real battles and trust me, I've seen people fall apart faster than you 3 just looking at me. The laughter stopped instantly. He knelt beside Emma. Tell them who you are. Her voice trembled but grew stronger with each word. I'm Emma Davis, I'm not cancer girl, I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor. A silence hung heavy, even the teachers nearby paused to listen. Ryan stood tall beside her. Remember her face, because one day when she's saving lives, you'll remember the day you tried to break her and failed. The bullies lowered their heads. One of them, the smallest, whispered, I'm sorry, and walked away. That day changed everything, not because Ryan scared them, but because Emma stopped hiding. She joined the art club. She started speaking in class. A few months later, she was chosen to represent her school in a cancer awareness campaign. Standing on stage, looking out at the crowd, she saw her dad smiling proudly from the back row. She said, "Sometimes people think strength is muscles or medals, but real strength is getting up every day when life keeps knocking you down." When she finished, the crowd stood and clapped. Her bullies, now quiet, humbled, were among them. After the event, Ryan hugged her tightly. "Told you, you had the fight in you all along." She smiled. "Guess I got it from you, Dad." Months later, her hair started to grow back, soft and golden again. The doctor said she was in remission. When she walked back through that same school gate, this time with sunlight bouncing off her face, she didn't look scared anymore. She looked unbreakable, and maybe that's the lesson we all need. Sometimes the world will label you by your scars, your sickness, or your pain. But those aren't your limits, they're your proof you survived. So if you've ever been laughed at, bullied, or called names, remember Emma's story. Keep your head up, you might just be stronger than anyone realizes.